In the sanctity of our own homes, we operate under a presumption of safety. The front door is our fortress, the barrier between the chaotic world and our private peace. But for professional scammers, that door is not a barrier. It is a stage. Today's story takes place in a quiet, affluent suburb of Denver where crime feels like a distant concept. Thomas, a 64-year-old retired structural engineer, is spending his Tuesday afternoon in his garage, meticulously restoring a 1967 Mustang. The smell of oil and vintage leather is his therapy. The silence of the afternoon is pierced not by a phone call, but by the aggressive, impatient ringing of his doorbell. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession, it is the sound of urgency. Thomas wipes the grease from his hands with a rag and walks to the door, expecting perhaps a neighbor or a package for his wife. When he opens the door, the dynamic shifts instantly. Standing on his porch is not a friendly face, but a man in a high-visibility vest holding a thick stack of envelopes and a battered clipboard. The courier looks harried, sweating, checking his watch as if every second costs him money. "Delivery for Mr. Thomas Miller," he barks, not waiting for a confirmation. "I have a priority legal document from the municipal court. It requires immediate personal receipt." The word court lands like a heavy stone in Thomas's stomach. He is a law-abiding citizen. He pays his taxes early. He obeys speed limits. The idea of legal trouble is foreign and terrifying. "Court? What for?" Thomas asks, his voice betraying a hint of anxiety. The courier sighs, rolling his eyes, weaponizing social pressure. "Look, buddy, I don't know. I'm just the messenger. But if you don't sign for this right now, I have to mark it as refused. That means the sheriff comes to serve you in person next week, and believe me, you don't want that scene in front of your neighbors." The trap is set. It relies on 2 powerful psychological triggers: the fear of authority and the social pressure to be cooperative. Thomas isn't thinking about the paper anymore. He is thinking about avoiding embarrassment. The courier thrusts the clipboard toward Thomas's chest, invading his personal space. This is a dominance tactic, forcing the victim to retreat or comply. "Just sign here on the receipt line and date it here," he instructs, pointing with a dirty fingernail to a small, narrow strip of white paper clipped to the front. The clipboard is a mess of chaotic paperwork, designed to overwhelm the eye. The paper Thomas is asked to sign looks like a standard delivery confirmation slip. Harmless, routine, boring. But a keen observer would notice something odd. The white receipt paper is clipped unusually low on the board. It sits on top of a thicker, yellowish sheet of paper that resembles old-school carbon copy paper. The courier's left hand is gripping the clipboard tightly, his thumb strategically placed over the top header of the underlying document, physically blocking any text that might reveal its true nature. Thomas reaches for the pen attached to the board with a string. It is a heavy-duty ballpoint pen. "Press hard," the courier commands, his voice dropping to a firmer tone. "The carbon copy needs to go through to the 3rd page for my records. Don't be gentle with it." Why would a simple receipt need 3 copies? Why the demand for physical force? This command, "press hard," is the smoking gun of the fraud. It is the mechanism that transfers the victim's signature from the innocent white slip onto the devastating legal contract hidden beneath. Thomas hesitates for a microsecond, the engineer in him wondering about the inefficiency of the system, but the courier taps the paper impatiently. "Come on, sir. I have 40 more stops today." The pressure to be a good guy, to not be the person who holds up a worker, overrides the instinct for caution. Thomas succumbs to the urgency. He thinks, "It's just a signature. Let's get this over with." He grips the pen firmly, pressing down hard as instructed, etching his name onto the white strip. The friction of the pen against the paper feels final. "There," Thomas says, handing the clipboard back. The courier snatches it away with lightning speed, tearing off the top white strip, which is nothing but a scrap of trash, and handing it to Thomas along with a sealed envelope. "Have a good one," the courier mutters, turning on his heel and walking briskly back to his unmarked van. Thomas stands on the porch, holding the envelope. He opens it. Inside, there is no court summons, no legal document, just a glossy, cheap flyer for a window replacement company. He is confused. "Must have been a mistake," he mutters, tossing the flyer into the recycling bin. He returns to his Mustang, the incident forgotten within the hour. But the ink on the hidden page is permanent. 45 days later, the silence of his life is shattered again, not by a courier, but by a sheriff's deputy. The officer hands him a foreclosure notice. "Mr. Miller, you have defaulted on a secured loan of $35,000 payable to Apex Holdings LLC. They have obtained a court order to freeze your assets and place a lien on this property." Thomas feels the blood drain from his face. "I never borrowed money," he shouts, his hands shaking. The deputy shows him the evidence. A high-resolution copy of a promissory note acknowledging a debt for home improvement services never rendered. And there, at the bottom, is his signature. Unmistakable. The exact signature he pressed so hard to create on that sunny Tuesday afternoon. He didn't sign for a letter. He signed away his safety. Let's rewind to that critical moment. The pen is touching the paper. "Press hard," the courier says. But something in Thomas's engineer brain misfires. He looks at the clipboard's mechanics. He notices the strange way the papers are clipped, haphazardly, obscuring the edges. He looks at the courier's thumb, white-knuckled, pressing down on the top of the board as if hiding a secret. "Wait a second," Thomas says, his voice calm but firm. He pulls the pen back. "Sir, I really need to go," the courier pushes, aggressive now. "You can go in a minute," Thomas replies. Instead of signing, he reaches out with his left hand and grabs the bottom edge of the white receipt paper. He lifts it up. The courier flinches violently. "Hey, you can't touch my paperwork. That's confidential." But it's too late. The veil is lifted. Beneath the innocent receipt, hidden by the carbon sheet, is a dense legal document titled Debt Acknowledgement and Lien Agreement, value $35,000. Thomas stares at it, then looks up at the courier. The fear is gone, replaced by the cold anger of a man who realizes he was being hunted. "This isn't a receipt," Thomas says, stepping forward, making himself look bigger. "This is a loan agreement. You're trying to get me to sign a loan." The courier's face goes pale. The script is broken. He snatches the clipboard back, muttering curses, and practically runs down the driveway to his van. Thomas watches him go, memorizing the license plate. He takes out his phone and dials the police non-emergency line. He didn't just save his money, he exposed a predator. Your signature is the most dangerous weapon you own. In the wrong hands, it can dismantle your life faster than a fire. The hidden contract scam works because we are trained to be polite. We are trained to trust uniforms. But fraud thrives on politeness. Here is your armor against this deception. Never sign a clipboard blindly. Always unclip the document or lift the pages to see what is underneath. Beware of the phrase "press hard." Legitimate delivery receipts rarely require excessive force. If they rush you, refuse. A real courier gets paid by the hour. A scammer gets paid by the signature. Take your time. Read the fine print. And if they won't let you read it, close the door.